What's going on there, guys? We back with another one, and we have to talk about this incident involving the South Carolina trooper who was seen on camera being inappropriate with the South Carolina Gamecock players. One of the players had just scored a touchdown, and his teammates were going to see about him, right? You can see LeBron James posted here that an M cop needs to be suspended. That was premeditated and corny as F. He went out of his way to start some ish do better man. And what is LeBron talking about? Let's take a look at this footage.
This is a no-brainer to me. Nick Harper from South Carolina catches a pass, scampers down the field for a damn long touchdown run, runs into the tunnel because he's holding his hamstring, and then his teammates come to help him because they know that something must be wrong because he kept going in there and he's holding his hamstring. He comes back out. You can see the officer at the stadium walking in between two players and literally bumps into both of them and flexes his arms out before turning around and telling them to get on out of here and all of this other stuff. We saw it. It's clear as day. It's an automatic suspension. The man shouldn't be allowed to work the game again. What you doing messing with a player like that for? Wasn't somebody in street clothes that you didn't know was a player. You knew exactly who it was. You knew it was a player for South Carolina. You knew that, and you did it anyway. There's nothing to think about here. There's no argument. There's no excuse on the part of the behavior of the officer. He shouldn't even be allowed to cover the games anymore, and definitely should be suspended.
And a receiver, take a look at it in slow motion. The A&M cop bumps the South Carolina football player, and then he turns around and tries to incite a riot. Thankfully, Texas A&M dismissed the cop and ain't got to deal with it, but wow.
So he walks between the South Carolina players and just forces his way through, right? And he expects to get a respect and expect them to part the Red Sea for him when he could have walked around. That's not even his job. He see that the players are going back there to support someone's been injured. Now Stephen A. and Aiko have chimed in. Let's check out what they had to say.
What happened at the Texas A&M South Carolina football game is unacceptable. For an officer who is there to protect everyone in the stadium to walk toward those young players with that level of aggression, that level of intention, that level of purpose, and that purpose being nothing for good is something that just can't happen. And now, if you are these young men's parents, this is worst case scenario for you. This is something you've coached your kids through. You've told them how to behave. You told them what to say. You've told them how to look. And you've told them all of these things just to stay alive. And so now in this situation, someone who is in that stadium to protect them is the aggressor. And here's my biggest problem with the whole thing. There was 100,000 people in the stands. There were two entire football teams on the field, and there were millions of people watching on TV. So what kind of decisions does this officer make when no one is watching, when there are no immediate consequences? And thank God that Texas A&M acted extremely quickly to at least try to rectify the situation so everyone on that football field and in those stands could feel safe. But this is a cautionary tale. This is a warning. There are those people that feel so entitled and so empowered and have that level of audacity and also intoxication on power that they believe that they're above the law. It's not just about protecting those young men on the field, which is something we have to do. It's about protecting those young people in these streets, in these schools, that just walk around in everyday life from those who don't understand the power of the badge and the responsibility of it. Thank God today worked out the way it did and we got a great SEC battle. But not every young man is so lucky.
Now, this cop was relieved of his duties today. Just the backlash from the internet, people in real time seeing it, sharing it, the word getting out in the arena in real time. He had to go home. But my larger point in this guy's too emotional to be doing any type of police work. He's a state trooper. I don't need somebody that emotional pulling me over. Was he too much of a fan to be objective and police the game with the other school's players? He mad that A&M was down that much at the time. I can't have an emotional wreck like that policing, right? We need people who police and they're fair and they're just, and so I have an issue with what just happened. These guys are playing a game. They weren't trying to be rude. They didn't even bump you. You forced your way through there and you pointing boy this and boy that. Look, I think this guy needs to be sent home from the force for a while too. At the very least, he need to go through a series of trainings and different things like that. At the very least, because this is the type of attitude right here in somebody that ends up trigger happy. Even if somebody's asking a question within their rights, he is a situation escalator. And we're seeing that right now. And not even just a escalator, he's a instigator. And see, that's where my problem is. He instigated that situation. And as someone who is in law enforcement, you know what I'm saying. These guys in law enforcement, I think one of the prerequisites should be not instigating you. If you instigate, that's immediate. That's an immediate violation that should cost you. Not just policing the games, but it should potentially cost you your job. My opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.